in Breath of the Wild, like in Zelda, I like stock up a bunch of the stuff that makes your energy level so that I can like just go over the mountain.
So that's the analogy. That's the
exactly.
So
where
that's
it's like
how you're
instead
playing
of
guitar
following
now.
the path, that is way like that's what the path is there for. I would rather go over the mountain and struggle, and just so I can get to a further place in the game, so I can start buying the inventory there and then selling it in like the lower levels, or getting like the armor that's better because like you can find chests in the farther parts of the game.
Right. And if you suddenly return from across the mountain to do the tasks that you do have to do,
so much easier,
well armored.
Oh yeah, exactly. Then I'm just like slaughtering everybody, just like bing, bing, bing. Who cares? Yeah, I've been there, done that. It was really hard to get this stuff, but now I'm just like mowing through everybody, which is like the point. So it's like a little, it's a concentrated time of like, this is difficult. There is an easier way, but the reward is so much more. And that's exactly what happened with Ghost Kitchen, actually. Because I still retain, I'd never written songs from start to finish, like starting with the guitar. Always somebody else. I'm like a prompt person. That to me, like when somebody sends me a guitar part, that's like a writing prompt. And it's way easier for me. I can write like 5 songs a day that way. But like when I'm like coming up with like the actual melody of the guitar,
which you're used to using as a prompt.
Yes.
Like there's a whole separate stage.
Yeah, so that's like starting there and then putting it through my normal writing process without realizing it's like, you're gonna have to sing this and play this. And your writing style is for the melody and the song is to write something completely counter to what you're playing.
But you're one person.
Yeah. So I was doing that with all those songs and I'm like, I have to practice. Like, I can't just sing these songs because what I'm doing here is completely counter to what is coming out of here. And I've never done that before. And I didn't think about that at all until we really started doing it. And so that first year of Ghost Kitchen was honestly, we're 1 year old now, but we're way better. I'm way better, which is very cool to be able to look back. We're actually exactly a year old. Our residency started in April. So our first show was in April of 2021.
Happy first birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. I love Ghost Kitchen so much. And Ghost Kitchen's also more of a reflection of like my personal, we call ourselves like Mountain Surf, a weed band. I don't know why, but we're both those things. But like we're like 2000s indie, as opposed to Butter Boys is more like pop punky, rock and rolly.
Yes.
Ghost Kitchen's far sweeter.
It is. Yes.
It's like I'm calmer. It's really music that like the younger version of myself would be very proud and surprised that I wrote all of it.
Yeah, amazing. When you were singing along to the Shins, and David was playing the drums.
Yeah.
To
like writing songs like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's it. And like Dallas and I have the exact same music taste. Like he listened to Dashboard Confessional, he listened to the Shins, like at the same time that I was. We're I think 7 years apart age-wise, but we were both experiencing that same type of music and like in real time at different stages. Like he's in college, but I was like in like middle school or whatever. But and like those two times are almost parallel of like the things that you experience when you're in college and the things that you're experiencing in like middle school, high school, and being in that new like fresh thing of like, oh, like especially when you're in college, I'm like, I'm away from my parents, I'm doing whatever. I can go to these shows, I can like party at these shows, and these are like the formative years. We were both experiencing that in different spectrums.
Start honing your roller coaster riding abilities.
Exactly, exactly. I was just getting on the roller coaster at that juncture. Not quite yet. I wasn't that crazy of a kid. I was an athlete, so I didn't have time to do drugs, unfortunately. At 13. Unfortunately, I missed a opportunity to get drunk and do drugs because I was an athlete and doing my homework, whatever. So we were both, but music was like I was like getting out of that anyway. I was really into film. I wanted to be a screenwriter when I was a kid. That was like what I always wanted to do. And music was a huge part of that. I would always be seeing scenes when I was like writing and stuff, and a lot of them were very much sparked by what music I was listening to, which was really fun. And those movies of the time, it's like that indie movie time of like 500 Days of Summer and like Art School Confidential and like all of those like medium indie films that were very like the music drove it. That was my relationship with music, more as like a narrative to push along like a story.
Absolutely.
That it's like, and having nothing to do with, like the song wasn't written for that story, but like how it connects to it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where Ghost Kitchen comes in too. It feels like Ghost Kitchen is a little bit more cinematic, which is like how I like to write in general.
Will you make any Ghost Kitchen music videos?
Oh, yeah.
Simon happens to pop up in coincidentally.
Sure. Yeah, we're doing this whole thing where we're claiming that we're an Americana band. That's what we dress up as a country band sometimes, and then we're also an Americana band and a weed band and a mountain surf band.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're doing this thing. Hopefully, we'll be going out to New York in July, and then I want to go to Seattle in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to drive out to Seattle. We're going to fly out to New York and do kind of this whole like video series to go with it of like this Americana, like Ghost Kitchen Americana, like ode. Because we always tell each other that I am like the ultimate patriot. I'm trying to take that word back. And I am America, and I am Americana, as shitty as the powers that be make it feel for us to be that way. But like, I am a patriot. I'm like a big time, like I am. Like, that's the whole point, is to question the system, always make it better. If we need to even tear it down, we need to tear it down, but we need to be building something that's good for community. And I think that's like at a core what being patriotic means, and being in this country. So we always talk about that. So it's fitting that we're like this, we're just claiming all this stuff and it's mine now. And that's kind of what a Ghost Kitchen does. The idea of the band name and then kind of how we've chosen to do this whole thing is like treat it kind of like a ghost kitchen.
What is a ghost kitchen?
So a ghost kitchen is kind of like this. They were before the pandemic, but they really blew up during the pandemic. And so what they are is they're delivery only services that like food stuff that has like a different name. So like when you go on DoorDash and they have like all those restaurants that are like crazy crunchy chicken or burrito bonanza or like whatever, and they only sell like 5 burritos, and it's like, what kind of restaurant is this? Or like DJ Khaled, Another Wing, that's a ghost kitchen. And they take kitchens from like Applebee's, so you're just eating Applebee's for the most part.
Right.
Or they like, I think downtown, I can't remember the street it is, but there's one street downtown where it's all the industrial kitchens, and it's just like, it's fake. It's just people. They're not real restaurants. It's just frozen food that somebody's, and then they give it a funny name and like it's more about the marketing. They always come in like fancy little bags or whatever, but then you eat the food, it's like, is this even real? Like, where did this come from? And it's always, and it's the worst when you don't, we now know it, but like when they first started, people didn't know that they were ghost kitchens. So they would like order something and it's like, is this Applebee's? This tastes like Applebee's. And it's like, oh, this did come from an Applebee's. But why is this called Crunchy Wing or whatever? Or Burgers. And you're like, that kind of sounds fun. I've never heard of Burgers. And then they sprung up during the pandemic because no one was going anywhere. So no one was questioning. It's like, I've never seen that restaurant before. I've never seen that in real life before. It's because no one was going out. So that was kind of the idea, and then we took that and we're really into like bootlegging stuff, and I've always been into bootlegging stuff just in general. That's where Jim Kardashian started, of just, I want to get sued by them. That's like the goal, is get a cease and desist from the Kardashians. All press is good press. And so that's like the idea. And then it just kind of since it started from like Jim Kardashian and then Ghost Kitchen, we're doing that right now. We're working on merch. Like, remember those little McDonald's chicken nuggets
Yes.
where you'd put the stuff? So we're making our own version of them, like with their own like little accessories, like one that looks like my curly hair and one that has like a David beard and
Yeah.
a keytar. And so just like stealing stuff from other people and especially corporations. And just making it our own because why not? And we're just doing what a ghost kitchen does.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty fun.
Eat the rich and burn up all their money.
Yeah, exactly. Eat the rich and burn up all their money always.
Yes, that bit of the roller coaster is good.
Yeah, that's the best part, to be honest. That's when there's like they like just did a bump and they have like a little bit of clarity. You're like, okay,
Let's repeat that bit.
yeah, just keep,
bigger.
let's go on with that. I love that part. And then it goes right back into the Denver airport. You're like, okay, here we go.
And remember when they switched timelines and the movie didn't exist anymore?
Yeah, I know the Illuminati lives under there. I know. I've heard it all before. You're not blowing my mind. I've been on YouTube. Yeah.
It sounds like you're having a lot of fun. Back to the fun theme with Ghost Kitchen being this kind of unpredictable like entity that's come to be.
Yeah.
As you've as you had the 3 songs, as you were experimenting with like learning to do something on the guitar, and now you're like the main songwriter playing guitar, still not really knowing how to play guitar,
Yeah.
but creating all of this material, and then it's fun to create a bunch of other stuff. Like you were saying, when you would listen to songs, then you would be prompted to think about scenes.
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun at the moment with all of the Hum songs and making like that music video, and with the same videographer. It's a 10-part documentary.
Yeah.
Where I get to, in the first part, kind of tease myself a bit about the whole Dr. Calder thing. But
Yeah.
at the same time, clarify, well, I do have a PhD, and I did wind up here
Because
related to the economic crisis.
Yeah.
Defunding of arts and humanities, and then I paid attention to what was happening on the ground here with musicians, and then wound up paying the same type of attention that I used to be paying to 19th century British novelists.
Yes.
To my friends.
Totally. That's so cool.
Yeah.
But it's true. And thinking of that ecosystem too, because really when I think about it, like because Butter Boys, now I think we're like we've hit our final form, which is really nice. Having John McConville, who is also of Young Yeller on bass, Kyle, who was playing bass with us when Joe Markson was still in the band. And then when Joe left the band, Kyle like instantly just switched over to guitar, and he's so brilliant. And so same with John, and I'm really excited for our new stuff. We took a break and we've written 8 songs in like 3 months. And it's a totally new writing style where we're all collectively writing together. I still take the songs away to write my stuff, but it's far more, before it was like me and Joe kind of in our own silo writing them together. And now it's like a very much collective. I mean, like everybody, David, John, Kyle, we're all like contributing to each other's parts, which before like everybody kind of had ownership of their own part, and you can really feel it in the new music.
It's more co-creative.
Way more, and it's really fun. And I still get to when it comes to like writing the songs or whatever, I do need to do it take them away. But by the time they get to me to take them away and like write the rest of it, they're like perfect. They're like in pretty much their final form in that way. And then when I come back, that's when like we get to add more nuance. Which we just never really had that flow before. And it's been really fast, and the songs are really good. They're like some of the best songs I've ever written. And there's far more intentionality behind them too, which is really cool. And I think it's because of the crew that we're in right now. Kyle and John are both very technical musicians, and they know, like, I listen to the two of them talk, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. It's like D, this, whatever, drop, whatever.
Yeah, they're talking about the song that you created a starting point for, say, in some cases.
Yeah.
but it with this technical awareness of what the components are.
It's so fast. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Just the two of them, and like, it's so fun to watch. Like, it's just really fun to watch them work. How fast it is, and like how within 5 minutes it's like this beautiful composition that came out of nowhere. It's like just somebody has a little idea and they bring it, and then by the end of like 20 minutes we have a full flushed out song that we put away and then work on like later, you know, like
That's
keep working.
intricate and beautifully crafted, and the awareness of music theory and so on is clearly, it's not stifling things. It's enabling
Big time.
something.
Well, and they're
magical.
they're not gatekeepy about it, and they're not annoying about it, because sometimes with technical musicians it can get kind of like eggheady, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's just like, yeah, I guess, but can you? And there's no question that I ever asked that I feel like dumb. And like, sometimes I'm just like, can you just explain everything that you just said, because that sounds like it's cool. And every time they're just so good at like explaining stuff. And so I've been able to grow as a musician, especially like, since Kyle and John, like, and Kyle taking the position as being lead guitar. It's just been, I've learned so much, and like in such a great, like, safe environment of like, I don't feel like an idiot at all, because what I'm bringing to the table, none of you guys can do anyway. So we're all like bringing
so you can be
something.
curious about what's known here, and you can ask questions, and then that can be clarified, and then you grow too.
Yeah, and it's the same vibe with Ghost Kitchen. That's the other thing that's really great, is I think just this era of this music that I'm writing, it really is a testament to like the people that I'm around. And we're all on the same page. Like, we all have the same type of engine. I think that's hard to find when collaborating sometime, when everybody has a life. And so like being able, in my case, to essentially with like 6 other people have the same, or actually more than that, 8 other people, because of High Tiny Hairs too, have that same type of like engine of like, we're doing this, and we all want to be doing this in this way, and like talking about whether we want to travel, how many shows we want to play, how we want to do this. It's like all easy, because we're all, we communicate constantly about what our needs are as either the band or as individuals or whatever. We all care about each other, and we all take it serious. But also, and I think like to circle back to the beginning of the conversation, we can all take it very serious because we're all very much grounded in the fun of it. I'm not doing anything that's not fun. Like, that's a fact for me. Like, I just like, there's no point in living my life unless I'm having fun doing it, and especially something that I'm choosing to do.
Yes, but you were very, that's, your commitment to that being the case has been yielded by a lot of life experience. And it's not, someone might dismiss a person just always wanting to have fun as being escapist and not grounded. And it's the opposite of that.
It's like literally polar opposite of that. It's like, it is. It's really fun. That's why I have to make that rule for myself, or else it's not going to be fun for everybody. Like, if I'm like, my engine is like fast. Like, I'm always like, and if I just didn't ground myself and like remember, like, people need to be having a good time also.
You'd be like,
I would be a tyrant. I'd be like the dictator of Dreamlight Valley.
You'd be worse than Scrooge.
I'd be worse than Scrooge. Exactly. And so it's like, that's why I ground myself in it. Because I am a very fun person, I am, but like, when we got work to do, it's easy for me to forget, like, remember?
You'd be the superpower after power.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. That's exactly it.
And we'll talk a little bit more about Ghost Kitchen and what Ghost Kitchen has coming up, which is exciting. You're working on a record. Which then in the future we'll meet up again and we'll really dig into that record like we've been doing with the existing Butter Boys stuff. But you shared a little bit of it, thank you in advance. And what you were just saying about communication regarding needs and so on, I noticed that coming through in the lyrics, even just for the few songs that you shared. So in Mind the Machine, for example, trying to tell me something I don't need to know. That's the body. Is it you or is it my body?
Yep.
Trying to tell me something I don't need to know. And then in free TV, there's some things that I need to figure out. And then even more explicitly, my own needs are what reminded me to remind myself of the stuff I say so I can get by. So those were the first two songs that I turned to. And the first thing that struck me, because I received the lyrics first, I began by looking at the lyrics at least, was how frequently you were reflecting on what is needed, what is not needed, and letting your awareness of what you need remind you, and that become a prompt.
Yeah, totally.
Do you have any reflections on that component?
Yeah, especially in free TV. So free TV is actually the first song I've ever written from start to bottom, like from guitar. So that was the song that kind of started all of this. And it just kind of turned into a mantra song more so, especially coming out of 2020. I did a lot of relief work during the uprising and then also being traumatized by the police brutality in general. Just like pretty much spent all of 2020 and 2021 like recovering from PTSD.
Yeah.
And really like being very raw and allowing myself to like be depressed, be angry, be sad. Just like really just allowing myself these things. I had the time, I had it, and my job allowed it too. Like, I didn't have to like put on a brave face as often as I've had to in the past. And so, coming into, actually, no, Ghost Kitchen started in 2022 because I forget what year it is. Yeah. So coming out of that, Ghost Kitchen started in like December-ish of 2021. And I was starting to like kind of wake up from being in a very weird haze, like on every realm, like spiritually, like every single part of me was very discombobulated.
Discombobulated?
Yeah.
I was about to use that word. I'm reading the book Enchantment at the moment, which is about reviving wonder in an age of anxiety.
Totally.
And the opening chapters are all about the kind of experience that you're describing. And the author, this book was recommended to me by Sarah Morris, who is the main case study in my book about creativity. Discombobulated.
Yeah, that was like completely it. And really, that started happening for me in 2018. I ran a really intense campaign, and we won, and it was great or whatever, but it was kind of the aftermath of that, when you're doing something so intensely, that means a lot.
Yeah.
And then it just like all goes away.
Yeah.
Was so weird. I wanted it to go away because I was over it.
You needed to rest.
I needed to rest, but then nobody teaches you how to rest after something like that.
Yes.
And also like when you accomplish something big like that, like everybody is in your business wanting more from you, because now you're cool and you did something big and blah, 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 which is also why I very much that's why I don't do electoral politics anymore in general. I do nonpartisan work now for that exact reason. But it's just like the burnout's so huge. And so really it started in 2018. And 2018 and 2019 were terrible years. And then pandemic. And really when the pandemic hit and it was really the uprising that just like smacked me over the head, obviously. Very intense. I just lost it. Very but to me personally, I'm like, I just lost my mind. And so a lot of these Ghost Kitchen songs are reflections of home, like So Seattle. They have a lot, like West Coast Volume 1 is about Seattle. And just kind of what it is, because I was missing home so much. Like I was feeling really foreign to Minnesota during like from 2020 until like just recently, to be honest, where I feel like back into like the community again. But I just was feeling like I don't want to fucking be here. I don't feel comfortable anywhere. I mean, and we couldn't be in the places that made us feel comfortable. I was barely leaving my house. It was just like yucky. And then coming out of that and really honestly like developing my friendship with Dallas, who's my best friend, and we're so similar and so different in so many ways. and where our like intersections are just like, it kind of like woke me up a little bit of like, because at the time he was not someone that I would have thought I would have a connection with. I was so broken and so like, no way, you're pissing me off. I don't like your opinions about stuff, blah, blah, blah. Because, and that was a part of me that I lost during that time. I've always been someone that loves to hear what everyone has to say, even if it's gross and annoying. I'm always like, no, like you need to know what everybody's talking about so you can understand what your own perspective is. And I couldn't hear that kind of stuff for a few years. And when I broke through that, because like he really like chipped away at me because he always really liked me from the start. And he thought I was like very talented and fun. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. And it took like a little bit of time.
He wore you down.
Yeah, but kind of, it didn't take much. He was just like always kind of around. And then I realized it's like every time that he's around, we always end up talking forever. And then it's like, and then starting this band, he really like uplifted and really helped me with my confidence of writing songs like this, like writing songs that actually have more teeth that I'm talking about something. Because a lot of Butter Boys songs, like I said, it was like you're humming stuff and then you pick something and then I would build around that. But a lot of these Ghost Kitchen songs, they start like that-ish, but then I was more intentional about like, what am I actually talking about here? Like, are there places or people, what do I want to convey? And a lot of them ended up being that way.
Absolutely. On the back of that, it struck me that Free TV is asserting you're the plot of the story. You're the hero who slayed the day. And it was interesting to bring that into conversation with, say, Bay, where Better Give Me 3 or 4. I'll drop the bag when I come out of the liquor store.
Yeah.
So, Cephas has 3 glasses of wine at the end of the music video that David is in. Better Give Me 3 or 4. I've got a story to tell you. So in Bay, there's this kind of need to communicate something. We're kind of a bit kind of roller coaster like. I have to tell you this
but I
thing.
just like don't want to talk about it because that's like that's what it ends up being. Is it's like I don't want to talk. Well, I kind of want to say this, but I don't really. And during that time, when I think about it, that is really how I was feeling just in general. It was right before those songs were probably written in like either 2017, 2018,
right.
And that is internally. Whether I knew it or not, like how I was feeling stifled in that way in like different aspects. I was in a different place in my career. I was like different place in I wasn't really that confident in my writing. I was just kind of doing it. As opposed to in Free TV where you can see like this shift of perspective, like coming out of all that BS that I went through for so long, of being like, I don't need 3 or 4 actually. And here is, like I actually don't need anything from anybody.
Right.
Like I'm just gonna be telling. I realize that I'm like about like I might be in something, but I have the tools to tell myself like you're the coolest, you're the best. You're the plot of this story.
You're on your trajectory. You know, it's you experience the growth and the evolution. And it doesn't matter whether there's a bunch of avid readers of this story.
Exactly. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, this is, like, you're left with you at the end of the day, regardless of, like, who's around you. So it was really, like, leaning into that and not having it be sad.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of times, like, that sentiment can feel sad and like lonely, and I'm like the least lonely person. I have people around me literally 24/7, so it's not this feeling of loneliness where that's coming from or like not belonging, because I do feel that I belong, but it's a sense of like what I think collectively we feel going through these really weirdo times, of like I am not grounded in this reality. Like, I'm just like not grounded here because this reality doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And the more that I'm forced to make this make sense for this, like these external reasons, the less grounded I feel.
Yeah, you lose yourself.
You lose all of it. And so it's like, fuck all that. You need to just remember like what got you here actually, like what got you into the seat right now? Where are you? Like
There's a
who are
presence and
you?
a grounded confidence, I
Yes.
think. That's what I was thinking about. That's what's grounded confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And we've gone on a journey from a character who is, on the roller coaster, expressing a desire in this moment in this song to drink, 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 talk, 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 to tell the story, really want to be seen and understood. We all have the experience of not being seen and understood in the way that we'd like to. And then here in Free TV, we have a character who, you would say, obviously it kind of does feel sad to not be seen and understood when one ideally would like to be.
Yeah, totally, totally.
But to have a song that is just acknowledging that reality and being with and fostering this grounded confidence, I find that very powerful. There's still the focus on fun in West Coast Volume 1, but all for one, come have fun, smiles for miles, ignore that one, eyes up here, no, not there, please just have fun.
Yeah, that's kind of that. It's funny that you say, because that to me is sad, because really what the song's about is the city of Seattle in general. And I left Seattle when I was 18. And so every time I go back, the changes in the city and stuff. And so it's really like for example, there used to be like the Hurricane, which was like in the part of downtown. It was this really cool diner that was open forever. And so you'd go to shows on the Capitol Hill, and then you go down to the diner, and they ripped that down to build Amazon. And it's like this idea of keep smiling. This is really fun. Keep it like
don't pay attention.
Yeah, don't look over there and like all of
evidence.
the poverty and like the fact that we keep rounding up the unhoused people and like shipping them off people, and like don't think about this because like look at you have like you can go into the Amazon like grocery store and there's nobody working there and it's all robots and it's like really fun. Isn't this fun?
Right.
Don't pay attention to that. No, you have to smile actually.
So not actual fun. It reminds me of the kids gone wild who aren't smiling.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Same kind of vibe where it's just like, no, this actually is weird. Like you should feel weird about this.
This is not the fun that's to be fostered. That is the escapism actually.
Exactly.
The inattention, the not reckoning with
what's going
the
on.
very discomforting aspects of
and just
reality.
like letting it all happen. Like you just have, yep, this is happening, and look at how much fun we're having. This is great. Look at the Space Needle. Oh, look at the Ferris wheel. Like that kind of stuff, which all that stuff is really fun. Like when we go back, we go and like we do that, but then there's like always this little part of me of the like kid that grew up in that city and like loves it so much, with like the neoliberalism that happens in that place of just like we don't see color here, no problems here, everything's great, we're also rich, we're also all white, we've kicked everybody out of the places that they've always wanted to be, and like we're still trying to kick people out. Like all the people that have weed businesses now, they're all white too. Like it's just like this cyclical thing of like, look at how progressive we are. Look at how we're better than everybody else. Like we blah 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 because whatever. And I mean, I grew up in that bubble, and really felt that bubble when I was a kid, and thought that was correct, and it's like, oh no, this is just like just as bad, if not kind of worse, in a lot of respects, because when somebody's telling you that they're helping you while they're like punching you in the face, it's a little like weird. It's like really abusive. It's like when you're having this like type of neoliberal, and we have the same problem in this city when it's just like, yep, the DFL's the best, and yep, all the Democrats are the best, and we help you or whatever, as like Jacob Fry is like bulldozing encampments in the middle of winter and not providing any sort of, and it's like, yeah, but like look at, I did the big gay run that one time, remember that? Like I love gay people and I love the LGBTQ, and I'm one of you guys, and I skateboard in here, and then but don't look over here as I'm destroying people's lives. Like it's just like, and it happens all the time. And I think it's just something that, like, me as someone that is more progressive, obviously on the spectrum, more radical, I would say, not even progressive. I'm far more radical in the way that I view things. I don't believe in any of the systems. I think it's something that us as people that are more radical need to be calling out a lot. Like, we know that, like, people that are on a Republican spectrum or like on a more right spectrum, the fascism obviously we all hate, but the fascism is always also like the call is coming from the inside the house too. Like, the fascism that is like spreading is being fostered by money, and both sides, I guess, of this are benefiting from where that money is coming from. It's just one of them is smiling at you while they're stabbing you in the back, and the other one is like at least being like forthright with the fact you're like, yep, we don't like you because of the way that you look. And it's like, okay, hate that for you. I hate that you are doing that, but at least I have a warning and I know what I'm getting myself into when engaging with that.
Right.
It's just really hard when, and especially being a black person, it's hard to get fucked over by the people that are telling you that they're helping like all the time. And that's a lot of themes and like a lot of the stuff that I write because I work in it and I see it and do it. And so I always try to like shed some sort of light on that dichotomy in the world that we're living in, especially being like, a more radical, progressive person.
Yes.
I find it important.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that being our starting point in a full Ghost Kitchen interview when the record comes out. Because I'm eager to revisit the songs that I'm aware of with that as guidance, and then to really dive into that together. To close today, I think that the song Coop takes us on a trajectory that's kind of like what we've been on today, where it documents with the choruses generally initially ending, "Oh fuck, what have I become?" I mean, I think there's maybe this sense of discombobulation and true feeling that one can't, in good conscience, avert one's eyes from the very disorienting data. But when one does look at it, one's losing one's sense of self and agency as well. But then, oh fuck, I like what I've become. Is the point that we end at. So perhaps kind of with an awareness that journey fits with some of the themes that we've been discussing, looking back even at, like, I've got some songs in me, I enjoyed seeing this band, hella bass, hella drums. Now I've got some songs in my head and then the journey that we've been charting for you today. Do you have any final thoughts on this transition in Coop from oh fuck, what have I become to oh fuck, I like what I've become?
Yeah, I mean, that one, it's because it's like, that one's really, to me, it's about like following something. In this case, in the song, it's like following a person. It's like, it's Friday night and like told me to grab my good shoes and like go. And it's like, first of all, why would I put on my best shoes? Like, already, like, I'm being led astray. And just doing something because it's like, I guess you seem like you know where you're going and you seem like you had some sort of direction. Therefore, like, you know, you told me to grab my good shoes, which indicates to me that like there's an end game here. There's like some destination. There's some reason why you wouldn't just say like, let's just get up and go, and there's some reason why you're not telling me. And I think like through the course of the song, it's just realizing it's like, no, this person has no fucking idea where they're going or what's going on.
It's like After Hours again.
Exactly. It's that same kind of thing.
Just when I thought our journey was done, time to go to sleep now. This dude starts running.
It starts running and it's like, and I'm supposed to chase after you and like run after you and like go. And it's like, and that whole time as I'm like descending with this like person, I guess, and really the person is just an idea. Right. It's really not anybody. But like, as I'm doing this, at every stop, it's like, what have I become? Like, where am I? Like, what am I doing? And why do I keep going? And it's like that ending of finally, it's like, oh, yeah, this is nothing. And I like who I am. Like, this is fine.
Right.
That was weird. You know what I mean? Like, that was weird. Okay, no, I'm fine. Why was I even worked up about any of this? And it's like, and especially like the instrumentation of this, like descending every chorus of it being like, and you're just like, where is this going?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh no, it's fine.
It's kind of reassuring because that isn't the default mode, that when one experiments with like, okay, let's go down this hole, well, that kind of, I don't want to have that be my constant reality.
Yeah.
So if one has enough awareness and commitment to who am I, how do I want to show up, then it's actually kind of reassuring to have like the fleeting moment of like, well, I could be going on that journey the whole time.
Yeah, but I'm not, and
But
I
I'm
never
not.
will.
Exactly.
Because that's not who I am.
Yeah, and when I taste a little bit of that, I don't like the taste of it.
Exactly.
And I know.
and I know. I'm like very aware. It's like, yeah, where, like, what? Okay, weird. Like, and I think we all should have weird experiences.
Exactly.
I think it's really fun to go down these rabbit holes in whatever way, whether that's in your like relationships, friendships, anything really. But to me, like those experiences help reassure, because I always end up mentally back where I feel comfortable.
Yes.
With learning things and growing up at the same time, but always staying true. I always say like I'm always trying to achieve the version of myself when I was 15 years old, because I was cool as shit, and I like cared about things really well, and I was always doing stuff. Like 15 and 16, I was always like doing things on my own and experimenting with like life, like just going places and doing things. And it really wasn't about anybody except for myself.
Yeah, and truly experimenting, where it's not just like, I'll experiment, I'll throw myself into this, but conducting the experiment, you know, if one conducts an experiment, one makes discoveries.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and you come to your own grounded in experience conclusion.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can relate to that. I feel like I've been recalibrating back and realigning with that kind of the curiosity and the optimism and the hopefulness and the you know, that perhaps it's easier to have it in our culture when one is younger.
Exactly. I think that's what makes it hard. I think like we have it figured out when we're that age for the most part. I think like with what we have going on of like how we show up for ourselves, because that's really the only thing that we have. And then adulthood just like beats us down. I think that's what it's meant to do, is like having expectations of you need to have a job, you need to do this. Your meaning is based in external things, which like literally never works out.
Right.
Like,
and also the attitude of like, well, don't worry, you're already good at singing. You don't need to do anything different. Like you just sing the national anthem.
Yeah, exactly. It's like just keep on singing the national anthem, and it's like, what? I don't want to do that.
Right.
And it's like, and you as an adult are like, yeah, you're like a black kid. You're gonna probably want to sing songs. Like you're not gonna want to be in a band. Like that was like always the thing. It's like, well, you're a girl who can sing, so you're gonna want to sing songs. And it's like, no, I don't. And no one's ever asked me, and no one's ever like even told me that there was anything else. So I just didn't do any of it, because it's like everyone that I know is in bands or like in screamo bands, and nobody wants to play the songs that I want to play. Right. And I'm not screaming shit, not like that. And I definitely I don't need any more of this perspective of a bunch of like 17-year-old white kids in a basement that are all rich.
Yes.
Talking about how hard things are. Like I don't relate to that.
Right.
So
Absolutely. And
there's nobody else really doing so I had to wait until I was an adult to rediscover like, oh yeah, I really liked doing stuff like that. Like, why can't I just do that?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I can just do that. And really it was music, playing music, being in bands that like reminded me, exactly like in the song, like reminded me to remind myself of the stuff I say. Because it's like, oh yeah, remember when you were really cool when you were a kid? You should just do that again.
Yeah, and this is how we renew who we are. Like in the Hummingbird song.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I love it. So we need to circle all back.
Yes, I like who you've become and who you continue to become.
Thank you.
As well, and I'm looking forward to next time,
yeah.
where we'll be the ratio of Ghost Kitchen to the other bands will be mostly Ghost Kitchen. And that's going to be the big.
That's going to be the next
release.
one. Yep.
And then of course we'll have a High Tiny Hairs one that.
Yeah,
will,
we're all writing and recording right now, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be like the year of Dre House, like 2024, which I'm really excited. I'm like,
Great.
it's gonna be fun.
Excellent. I think it's going to be fun too.
Yeah.
Good real fun.
Yeah, good, real, serious fun.
and even the after hours have a time and a place.
Yeah, for sure.
There's bound to be some after hours fun post Hum record release.
can't wait.
Which you're invited to.
Yeah, we will be there, and I will make sure to bring my superpowers.
And after we finish, after the Butter Boys set, and before the VFW closes, I for one am going to sing at least a little bit of karaoke.
Oh my God,
In the
yes!
back bar. I think Cephas might in his gown.
I am so excited. Oh my gosh, and this is gonna be the best show. I can't wait.
If too much chest hair is allowed in the other parts of the VFW, one doesn't have the excuse of being on the stage.
Well, I will be right there with you. We can both do different Backstreet Boys songs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Larger than life. I will do that.
That sounds really great.
Cephas will do that.
Yeah, Cephas will do that. Just me. I'll just show up.
Okay, well, please, if you're curious about what that will look like, you'll have to join us on June 8th at the Uptown VFW. I've really enjoyed our conversation today.
It's been so much
I'm
fun.
sure we'll have many more in the future after the year that you were just hypothesizing about, which
Yeah.
I'm excited to be there for. In the meantime, this has been this multiple part. We reached the end of the final part of the Butter Boys interview, and I look forward to the viewers joining me again 10 o'clock next Thursday for whichever guest, which I think actually is going to be Channing from the Naughties, who are
Sweet.
also hella bass, hella drums,
Hella bass, hella drums.
playing on June 8th at the VFW. So until then.